Hey everybody. Excuse me. It's about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And it's hot as heck out here. Yeah, I know. You might call me a sleepyhead or lazy, but I just woke up. The reason why I just woke up is because my wife works nights. God bless her heart, man. She's having to sleep. I think it's okay in there in her bedroom because she's got an air conditioner. But at nighttime, we have to open up the door that joins my son's bedroom and my bedroom. And so at night, you know, it kind of cools off a little bit. But during the day, one air conditioner can't do both of those bedrooms. We got to shut the door, and then that canopy thing that I got in there for my wife, the Limster Cave, it helps out a lot because it kind of, I guess it kind of keeps the heat trapped up on top of the room and the cool air down below in there in the bed and underneath the canopy, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I did get over there and measure the radiator. The radiator is like, I don't know, let's go take a look at it. My son brought it all down here for me. Bear with me. It's about a foot shorter. It's about the radiator is exactly, well, I'm going to say about 1 foot shorter. The depth of the radiator is the same. I think the thickness is the same. But somebody told me that, or Ratchet 951 told me that it was in his son's Chevelle. This came out of a Chevelle. That radiator came out of a Chevelle. And he used it for a dirt track car. So the height of it is the same, I do believe. But check this out. I put electric fans in here, dual electric fans, to cool this motor off. If I'm not mistaken, I think aluminum is a better conductor for cooling on something than copper. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I couldn't tell you on that one. But I do know that that radiator right there is about a $300 radiator. Used, I don't know how much it is. But I do got the original fan set up. And I do got extra parts that I've hung on to when I've come across them. This one isn't the original fan. I do have the original fan in there. It's a 4-blade fan. This one's it's 6 blades on it. 6 blades on it. So I think that'll be the cooling push. These older model C10 trucks, this is all they came for, a fan shroud, this top piece right here. They didn't come with a plastic. From what I'm told, my best friend named Greg told me that's all they came with, is that top piece for the fan shroud. And my old motor cooled just as fine with that, with the fan, the regular fan that came with the motor, the 4-blade fan. But when I stuck this other motor in here, that other one that's sitting out there beside the staircase, it's the original motor that came out of the truck. The numbers match the truck. This one, somebody found for me, a guy I used to work for. He found it for me for $600, and I paid cash for it. It didn't come with, came with everything on it except the alternator. I do believe even came with a water pump, exhaust manifold, intake manifold, valve cover, everything on it. So all I had to do was just drop it down here basically and bolt it in. I had to take my headers and discontinue them. I had headers on my old motor, and it sounded like an airplane taking off. I swear it sounded just like an airplane. And it was loud, but it just sounded, it wasn't it wasn't that like this one is. And this one's doing that because I got a leak under here, that donut. I gotta fix it still. Plan on going and getting some nuts and double nutting that on there. Anyway, when I had headers, I put dual exhaust all the way to the back with those headers, because those headers came with 2 pieces. It was a 2-piece header set, and it had 3 cylinders for one side and 3 cylinders for the other side, so it was true dual exhaust all the way. But when I put this other motor back in here, I didn't want to fiddle with them headers again, man. It was just, I always had to sit there and tinker and tighten them, and it just seemed like, you know, the movement of the motor and everything would make the headers move, and I just didn't want to deal with that, man. It took me for a lot of trouble with those headers. So I'm going to leave I left the headers off, and I bolted one single pipe into the dual, back into the duals with a T. And that made it with no muffler. And it sounds pretty cool. I like it like that. I'm satisfied with it, and it ain't that loud bumblebee, sound like a mad bumblebee going down the road. But so anyway, we're back to the drawing board on this radiator here, because it's leaking, and somebody finally sent me a radiator aftermarket. It is it's a Howie. It's a good radiator. And I'm gonna put the extension back on it, and instead of putting that 4-blade fan on it, I'm gonna use this one. This one right here. Oh, it's hot. Stuff's hot out here, and it's too hot for me to be out here with me and my son. We're just gonna have to wake up in the morning early. It just takes a while for the house to cool off at night, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to sleep in a hot house. The air conditioners is the best we can do for air conditioners. The biggest one's in the living room, and we got 2 air conditioners in the living room, and it stays hot pretty much. It barely takes the edge off, man. I mean, this house has no insulation in the walls. It doesn't have any insulation in the ceiling. So pretty much we stay up late at night in here as late as we can with those 2 air conditioners rolling. And then when it's time to go to bed, like around, oh, I'd say midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, we turn that one air conditioner that's in the front of the house, which is my bedroom, and we open up the bedroom door connecting the 2 rooms together. Kind of a weird setup. It's not a hallway there, it's just a door that connects 2 rooms together. Somebody decided to put a door there, I guess, because I don't know why there's a door there. It don't make no sense, but maybe it does make sense, because, you know, we put one air conditioner on one end and we put a fan in there for my son to get air, and he gets the air that away. But anyways, we're probably gonna have to get up in the morning early and try to get that radiator stabbed in there, and put that old mechanical fan back, the old school well, not the old school 4-blade fan, but that aftermarket one I just got through showing you about. Man, I can't even sit on this air conditioner, man. This is the old air conditioner we got out here. It's burning my butt just sitting on it. I'm gonna sit over here in the shade. I tell you what, man, the last time I had problems with radiators, no kidding, I'll tell you this story. I had an old 71 Ford van one time. And it was the kind that had the motor all the way inside the cockpit. The motor was completely inside. I mean, it was a flat down nose. It wasn't the O'Connell line like in the 80s models like the Mr. T van. It had a snub nose, and I loved that van. It had wore out shocks in the front of it. It was a 1-ton van. It had windows all the way around it when I got it. It had bench seats in it when I got it. And it was white. And when you open the side doors, a little step would flip up out from underneath the body, and it was a little step right there. And I just thought I might want to share this with y'all, because I think it's fun. It's a funny story. But I took that van and I decided to make a chick wagon out of it. You know, I wanted something to attract girls. I wanted to be cool looking. So what I did was I took all the bench seats out of it, and I took an American flag and used for the headliner. The American flag was solid from the back to the front. And I love that. That's what got it started. And then I had one of them little balls that you have that's 12 volts, a little ball, and it has a little electricity things going in it like this. When you touch it, the electricity goes to your finger. I had that sitting right there for the dome light. And when you revved the motor up, for some reason, all them little tentacles that was in there would go, they would start going in a circle. True story, no kidding. Everybody said, what you got, that flux capacitor in there to help it run? Make time travel possible? But anyway, it kind of like put a glow in the cockpit there, and I liked it, man. It got me attention. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get attention. And so I took, the next step I did was I took and I painted the outside of it black. And I painted the inside of the windows in the back. And just the side windows, not the two passenger door and the side door, and the front windshield I left alone. I think I might have put some tint going across the top like this, going across the top just a little bit. And the shocks were wore out on it on the front real bad. It was automatic. And so I took on the inside of the windows and I painted black. Took some black spray paint. I painted all the windows black on the back side of it. And the two large black windows, you know, the what is it? It's not a square. It's a, oh, what do you call it? It's a long window. The long window's in the back. I painted black, but I took a razor blade and I took a magic marker and I backwards drew the word B-I-T-C-H-I-N. I guess I can say it one time, and that's a female dog anyway, but bitchin'. And I scraped out the words in rough letters that said that on there. I took some neon pink paint, and on the outside it looked like dark window tint. It looked like shiny because the outside's glass, right? So it looked like perfect, pretty shiny black. And anyway, then I took neon pink paint and I painted over the letters. And then I took some more spray paint and I painted over it again to cover up the backwards letters on the inside. And then I took just little things and pictures or here or there and hung on the inside a little bit, you know. Just little things. I forget all the knick-knack things. I think I put a big TV that was a tube TV behind the driver's seat and strapped in with a bungee cord sitting on a stool. And I had Nintendo 64 in there at the time, so we could play video games. And then I got this wild brain idea, me and my buddy. We said, hey man, let's put a waterbed in the back of this van. So we built the frame. It didn't fit perfect. We had to tuck the edges of the one side of the mattress under, you know, on one side. And we left the hole open for the other side. Underneath it was two pyramid speakers. It was the kind of speakers that were clear. And we took Christmas tree lights and tried to strip the wires, and we hooked it to my amp. I didn't have an amplifier. I had a home stereo system sitting on the hump. And the inside of the air conditioner, it didn't work at all. So I gutted where the air conditioner and all that controls went, and I slid my stereo staircase. It was a double cassette player. I did have a CD player, and then I had the stereo, the radio part, amp part, you know, with how you made the channels. And I ran speakers on the front, you know, and I ran speakers up here by my ears. And then I ran those two big 10-inch pyramid speakers down below underneath the waterbed, and I hooked Christmas tree lights to them. And those, you know, you had to find the right combination where it wouldn't blow the bulb. We tried one, and it blew it. And then we tried 2, 3. I forget how many we had to link in line and run it in series in there and make it to where it would, the lights would come on like this when it bumped. It took a lot of trial and error there because we didn't know how many lights to use. We kept burning out lights. It would burn out one, then we'd have to add to it. Anyway, we found a combination that worked in there good. And you could actually crank that stereo up, man, and put on a, I think it was a Funky Cold Medina. And Wild Thing. She wanna do the wild thing. Wild thing. And we had that one going. And it beat hard, but it wasn't a loose vibration beat because the water on top kind of mellowed the little vibration crud down. And I built a complete closed box out of, you know, wherever you, MS, it's what they make speaker box material out of. And we made the box and we set it between the 2 fender wells, and then we put plywood over the top. And then we made a frame to go across. We had to put one board going across this way. And then we boxed it in. We put 2x12s all the way around the edges of the waterbed. Tucked the end of it under so it fit in there. And we filled it up with water. And me and my buddies, we turned on the stereo. We said, yeehaw. I had about 3 buddies in there. 2 was in the back on the waterbed. 1 was playing the Nintendo. And I said, you ready for the maiden test run? He said, yeah, buddy. We're going to do this one. We was all excited and in a good mood. And I'm going to tell you, man, I got down the street and I went to turn the first corner. We was just making the block. And I felt the van lean to one side, and my buddy said, whoa, whoa, stop, stop. They start freaking out, and I look back, and they're floating upside the wall. They're completely almost against the wall. The waterbed done crawled up the side of the van wall over there. They're freaking out. I slam on the brakes. Guess what else next happens? I hit the steering wheel. I got waterbed mattress all the way around me. The TV's, the guy that was sitting by the TV, he's on top of me. In between me and the waterbed mattress and mixed waterbed, and the waterbed just all the way up in the front of us here. It completely tore that mattress up. We had to go get another mattress, and they said, well, this idea ain't working. You're gonna have to find something. We're just gonna put a regular air mattress back here or something. I said, no. I said, well, let's just go buy a regular air mattress and put water in it. And they said, yeah, but you're still going to have the same problem. And I go, no, we're not. I got an idea. And I took ratchet straps and I made an X pattern like a, you know, a zigzag pattern like that over the top of it. And it held the water in place. And we went around the block and it was just fine after that. And I even think, and that's what reminded me of having a hole in my radiator, the van had a hole in the radiator. And so we went to the auto parts store and we bought 2 long hoses. I think we had to use garden hoses, them big fat black garden hoses. We went to they didn't have one. That's right, they didn't have one at the auto parts store, or it was too much or something. I can't remember which way we went with it. But we took 2 little hoses that goes on the water pump, and we ran hoses all the way, and we stuffed them hoses down in where you fill the waterbed up, and then took silicone and bobbered it all the way up. And every now and then I just put a little, anytime I wanted to fill the, because it would eventually start getting a little low. But man, I tell you, it was in the middle of winter when we used that thing, and we had one of them switches that turned on and off the water. I think it was a turn nozzle switch or a slide. I think it was a turn nozzle switch. We went and got one of them valves from Home Depot, just a regular old valve, and put some 1/2-inch nipples on it. And I set it down over here by the driver's side, and I could reach down there and turn the water off. Turn it from circulating. But it would get that waterbed warm. And then on the bottom of that step that I told y'all about, the one that flipped out, I put on there, let's party. And I tell you, man, there was more times than one that I went to go cruising around. That dome attracted people. The letters on the side of it, and I think I even put let's party somewhere else on it or something like that. It just made it look like we was cool little dudes. And I was young. I think I was like 22 years old, 21 years old. I hadn't quite met my wife yet. When I met her, I think I'd already gotten rid of the van, or it broke down or something. I can't remember what happened to it. Oh yeah, I went half ownership on a car lot with a buddy of mine, and he decided he was going to surprise me. And he says, man, you're having problems with your radiator, this, that, and the other, and your alternator. Oh yeah, my alternator started going out. And he decided he decided he was going to surprise me. He said, I already sold your van for you, and I got a 2.2 charger. It was that little shoebox charger that had a hatchback on it and had a little 4-banger in it under the hood. And it would do it like 97, 98 miles an hour down the road in 5th gear, man. But I didn't like it, man. I was so mad at him for selling my van. I was so mad at him for doing it. He says, I already signed the title over, dude. I got you. It's shiny. It's new looking. You don't have to worry about it. You can get to work on time now. You ain't got to worry about boosting off. I said, man, you hadn't even paid attention to the inside of that and all the work that I did to it, and you already sold it for me. Man, I was so mad at that guy, man. I was mad enough to almost punch him. But I took that 2.2 charger down the road. I said, okay, I'll trade, because it was kind of fast and get up and go-y. But man, I really wish I could have hung on to that van, because I really did love that van. It was my party wagon, man. I love that van. I really wished I could do it all over again. I would love to do it all over again, but I got to find an old van. I'm not going to do it to a new model van. I want the old school 70s model, the early 70s model Ford van. And if I get the chance to do it all over again, I'll do it a little bit more decent and correct, and more right, instead of just squirting silicone over the hole in the water bed and using carpet in there and just doing it, rigging it. I would like to have the chance to build me another one all over again and make it look real nice to where I could take it to car shows, because I really think that would look nice and it would attract the eye. But still, you're gonna have the same problem with the water. Oh yeah, and if I let that stuff get too hot, the waterbed will start getting too hot. That's why we had to put that valve in there to shut the water off, because it started getting a little hot. But that's the end of my story, and that was a nice van. I really wish I could go back in the day and do it all over again and play the Nintendo 64 games in there. Mario. I love to play Mario, Dig Dug, and Frogger. I love those games, man. They're old, simple, and easy peasy to play. Now, these games that my son's got with his Xbox and all this, I can't even last 2 minutes in the game, and I'm already getting shut down, and I don't want to spend hours upon hours upon hours. That's how them games, you know, that's what made it so fun back in the day with video games with me, was I could get on there and actually play something with no experience and get a little bit of entertainment out of it, and not having to start all over again every 2 seconds. But these newer games, man, they're so hard, and my son has to spend so many amounts of hours on them new games just to get good enough at it to stay in the game. You know what I'm saying? And they're online now, and you're playing with children, and they're talking to each other while they're playing, and it's just a whole different ball game now. And it's like, I'll make fun of him sometimes, because he'll be talking to his game buddies on there online, and he'll say, hold on! Oh, what do you want me to hold on for? And he'll look at me and go, stop! Because I tease him. Which, by the way, I finally shut him down on that game. I told him, man, I'm sick and tired of that being the most important thing in your life, and I hope you don't get mad at me for sharing this on there, but I lost my cool on him. I screamed at him last night, and I told him, look, man, that just seems like I ask you to do something, okay, you'll go do that, and then you're right back on it, and it's just endless. It's endless. It's from the time that he wakes up to the time he would go to bed, constantly, unless I had something I need to be done on this truck, or something that needs to be done that I need help with, or feed the dogs, or whatever. It would always be right back on that game, man. And I kind of try to have an open mind about it, because, you know, that's his friends and that's who he chooses to meet, but he ain't gonna know any skills of how to meet girls or how to meet friends if he don't get on, you know, start focusing on his self and skills on how to meet people, or a line just to go over there and, instead of just being shy and not knowing what to say to people. You know, that's the way I did it, man. I went out there and found me a car, or found me something that it would attract attention, where people would want to come around and get to know me because of what I was. You know, what I had around me, what I did, you know, especially a car. That was the #1 thing that drawed most of the crowd for me, was the vehicles that I had. And that grew friends that had similarities, or it would at least attract a hot chick. You know what I'm saying? That was my motive. Nowadays, it's all online stuff. I don't see how this generation that's living these days is going to be real. I don't see it. I don't know. It's just a generation that's coming up that I'm glad that I grew up in my generation, because he even told me he's scared to make friends. He's scared of rejection. Well, that's just part of the game. Not everybody you're going to run across is going to like you. And you got to create something, or go out there and do something. Go to a skate park and skateboard, or go to a park. I even bought him when I first had my motorcycle accident, I got a little bit of money and I bought him a drone. And he'll go to the lake, but everybody wants to fly the darn thing. And he tells them, no, this is like $1,200 worth of equipment here, and if I let you fly it and you run it into something and break it, I can't let you. So that's just one of them things where he got stuck. That one backfired on me too. Bought him a drone and it backfired, because people get mad at him and say, whoa, and they walk off because they get tired of watching it, and they just walk away. But I'm going to get off here and let y'all go, man, and maybe me and old Limp Jr. can put that back together and use that aftermarket radiator and make it work. I think it's going to work. Certainly, y'all leave the comments and tell me what y'all think, because I think it's going to work. That big old noise, man. Some car backfired. I'll catch y'all later, man. Y'all be good, man. Limpster out. Bye, y'all.